Greetings, fellow cultivators. Welcome to Auto Nova. Remember to like and subscribe to support the journey. Today, we're diving into the story of what's the point of cultivating immortality if you don't have money. The journey to spirit-flesh unity, the first stop has been generated. This simulation environment is generated based on the spirit-flesh unity breakthrough big data model, combined with massive historical data and user data. It possesses extremely high realism. If your Tau heart level is below 13, or you have any of the following diseases, please consult your doctor before starting. Please confirm that you have read and agreed to the user agreement. All generated data in this scenario belongs to Hammer Heart Abode. Please do not use it for any commercial purposes. Do you wish to begin your journey to spirit-flesh unity? Xiong opened his eyes, a wave of confusion flashing through his mind. I am. Gradually, he remembered. His name was Xiong, and he was an employee at a Dharma bone factory in Tianya City. The factory provided food and lodging. Work started at 8 a.m. and ended at 5 p.m. every day, with an hour-long lunch break in between. The canteen offered 3 meals a day. Breakfast included eggs and milk, while lunch and dinner provided 2 to 3 meat dishes. Afternoon tea was also available. Xiong was accustomed to going to bed promptly at 9 every night, falling asleep in his dorm room to the light music from the jukebox, and then sleeping soundly until 7 in the morning, ready to face a new day with full energy. For every 5 days of work at the factory, there were 2 days off. During these 2 days, Xiong would sometimes go for a hike in the nearby mountains, or go swimming, both of which brought him inner peace. Besides that, he had recently picked up a new fashionable hobby, surfing the internet in the factory's library. However, many workers in the factory were interested in this new thing, and Xiong couldn't always get a turn. Life continued day by day in this peaceful manner, and Xiong's greatest wish was to live like this forever, until the year he retired, and then spend the rest of his life peacefully with his pension, just like his father. And this day, it was the annual physical examination day again. Xiong lay on the operating table, silently circulating the remnant bowl's sacrifice mind method in his mind, feeling the scalpel cut across his abdomen, as the factory doctors removed the impurities from within. It was something that looked like tangled tree roots, covered in strange tentacles. Xiong had once overheard the doctors talking. They seemed to call this thing a spiritual root. In any case, it wasn't a good thing. Every year after their physical examination, Xiong and his fellow workers had to undergo surgery to cut off the spiritual roots on their bodies. However, he didn't know if it was because the thing was too tenacious or if the surgery didn't cut it cleanly, but the spiritual root would grow back every year. Xiong was grateful that the factory covered their medical expenses, providing free physical examinations, treatment, and surgery every year. Just then, he heard the doctors talking again. Did you hear? The Underworld Palace's artificial spiritual root synthesis technology is already on the market. I heard. Looks like our factory won't be open for many more years. Sigh. How can farming compare to their industrialized production? Do we just shave the fur? Shave it. The weather's hot lately, and the factory director wants to save on air conditioning. Xiong watched the fur on his body constantly falling off and couldn't help but struggle. Why is he awake? Increase the dosage. In a daze, Xiong only felt waves of pain from the wound on his body. He naturally circulated the remnant bowl's sacrifice mind method to resist this pain. But in the following years, his illness seemed to get worse and worse. The factory doctors cut off more and more parts, causing him so much pain every night that he couldn't sleep. To get a good night's sleep, he could only constantly circulate the remnant bowl's sacrifice mind method, constantly circulating the mind technique. Finally, one day, when Xiong was silently circulating the mind technique even after falling asleep, he was finally able to temporarily forget the pain and get a good night's sleep. What the FCK? Xiong took off the spiritual interface mask, recalling the experience he had just gone through, his eyes filled with a strange look. I was actually harvested repeatedly as a demon descendant in a spiritual root farm, circulating the remnant bowl's sacrifice mind method, day and night, because I was afraid of pain, and ended up breaking through to spirit-flesh unity from the sheer agony. Xiong temporarily suppressed the various emotions in his heart, trying hard to recall the feeling of gradually turning the remnant bowl's sacrifice mind method into instinct during those days and nights of suffering. Seems like I felt something. But it also seems like there wasn't much progress. Fuji looked at Zhang Yu's expression and said, things like mind techniques, the feeling is often very ambiguous and vague. Don't overthink it. The more you think, the more confused you'll get. Just keep cultivating this thing step by step. As they say, success comes naturally with effort. Zhang Yu had heard similar words from his Dao Heart class teacher and naturally understood the principle, but recalling his experience in the spiritual realm, he couldn't help but have some thoughts. That factory looks like the Kongshu of the past, right? A Kongshu where even the internet wasn't widespread, and spiritual roots needed to be farmed. The company must have collected data from the farmed demon descendants, who broke through to the spirit-flesh unity realm in the factory, and then used this data as one of the references to generate the simulation environment. But the problem is, Zhang Yu frowned slightly, the remnant bull's sacrifice mind method that broke through in the simulation environment is not the complete version of the remnant bull's sacrifice mind method in my mind. Could it be that I won't be able to achieve it? Forget it, Hammer Heartabout said. I can apply for a refund if I can't achieve it anyway. I'll keep trying. Next, Zhang Yu composed himself and headed to the 667th floor to start his day's work. On the construction site, the formless strength warriors flashed back and forth, performing tasks such as bending, cutting, and erecting steel bars. Of course, at this moment, Zhang Yu was not using Qi Meridian Flow, but chose the University Sacred Body, continuing to cultivate the ninth gate breathing method. But even so, Ying Xin, who was conducting acceptance checks not far away, was startled by this scene. Zhang Yu's work efficiency has increased so much in just over 2 months. Maintaining a human form with Genki to carry out construction indicates that his Genki conductivity, as well as his total magic power and recovery power, have greatly improved compared to the past. Could it be that he can really aim for first place in the class? Thinking of this, Yingzhen subconsciously shook her head. Impossible. Ji Yuanshu is too rich. It's impossible for anyone in our class to surpass him. In the 100 square meter apartment, on the 450th floor, a notification from the luck monitoring popped up in Ji Yuanshu's eye socket. His luck had changed again, and Zhang Yu's winning rate had increased slightly during this period. Ji Yuanshu checked the source of the luck change and immediately saw Zhang Yu's recent work performance. Significant progress. As a traditional civil engineering student, you've done quite well. But unfortunately, a civil engineering student who only thinks about making progress on the construction site will never be able to break free. Between us, there's a difference in dimension. The next day after school, Zhang Yu started his new journey to spirit-flesh unity. When he opened his eyes, he recalled his identity. He was Zhang Yu from Jingshui County, and along with 4 other people in the county, they monopolized the county's businesses in seeds, water usage, agricultural machinery, and money changers, collectively known as the 4 Young Masters of Jingshui. Zhang Yu owned the largest area of medicinal fields in the entire county, with hundreds of demon descendant slaves under him. His primary pleasure every day was watching the many demon descendant slaves in his household labor diligently in the vast medicinal fields. His second pleasure was hunting in the mountains. One day, he was surpassed by another wealthy young master while hunting and was subsequently mocked. In a bad mood, Zhang Yu returned to the county and purchased a magic treasure produced by a large company in the city from a traveling merchant. It was said that if carried year-round, it could prolong life, improve hearing and eyesight, and make one agile. It was the most popular health magic treasure in the city. Whether by coincidence or luck, in the next hunt, he took the lead and defeated all his opponents. From then on, he became a firm believer in this health magic treasure and bought a large quantity afterward, filling his room with them. Several years passed, and Zhang Yu felt his body getting worse and worse. During a physical examination, doctors discovered that his internal organs had been completely permeated by earth fiend Qi. In the following months, his body rapidly wasted away, and to prevent the continued corrosion of the fiend Qi, his organs, eyes, and limbs were amputated one by one. To resist the physical and mental pain, he cultivated the remnant bull's sacrifice mind method, circulating the mind technique day and night, hoping only to forget the suffering on his body. And whenever he felt like he couldn't hold on any longer, the calls of his family members always supported him to continue enduring. Zhang Yu, open your eyes and look. This is Dad's remittance information. Everyone is transferring money to you for treatment. You must hold on. Sun, do you feel it? The entire family's savings are continuously flowing towards you. Don't underestimate our family bond. Hold on, little brother. You've spent so much on treatment fees. Are you willing to just die like this and watch so much money go to waste? Looking at the fluctuations in his savings, Zhang Yu only felt like pairs of large family hands were pushing his back, trying to push him back from the face of King Yama. Besides his family, there were also pairs of doctors' hands pulling at him, seemingly wanting to drag him back to the world of the living. But it was too painful. Zhang Yu only felt as if his entire body, flesh, and bones had turned into mud, and gradually he had only one thought: it would be better to just die. How is the patient's condition? Hopeless. Keep him going. His family gave too much money. The whole hospital relies on him for revenue. Keep him alive as long as possible. This case of earth fiend corrosion is also very rare. So, after being corroded by earth fiend it causes such great harm to the body. Try to record his data completely until death. We can sell it to the company then. In the boundless pain, Zhang Yu gradually couldn't hear or see the outside world anymore. In the darkness, he could only circulate the remnant bull's sacrifice mind method over and over again, hoping only to forget the pain and never be woken up by it again. What the FCK? Zhang Yu took off the spiritual interface mask once again, feeling a phantom pain still lingering throughout his body. Pain. It's too f***ing painful. Is it because I cultivate the remnant bull's sacrifice mind method that they arrange this kind of simulation environment for me? Will the rest of these journeys to spirit-flesh unity all be like this? Is there no normal way to break through to spirit-flesh unity with this remnant bull's sacrifice mind method? Although his mind was filled with distracting thoughts, Zhang Yu still forced himself to suppress them one by one, and then tried hard to recall the feeling of breaking through to spirit-flesh unity in the spiritual realm. He felt that the white bull in his mind seemed to be a bit more agile, but there were still no signs of spirit-flesh unity. Just then, Zhang Yu received a message from Tu Lishan. Tu Lishan Ji Yuan Shu joined the team, and then Max Yuan replaced you with a substitute. Zhang Yu yes. Zhang Yu knew that it was Tu Lishan who had recommended him to join Max Yuan's team in the first place. The other party had received news from the competition team at this moment, and was clearly coming to inquire about the situation. However, Tu Lishan wasn't here to stand up for Zhang Yu or anything, just purely to confirm the news. Looking at Zhang Yu's reply, he thought to himself, Max Yuan is from the old director's faction. The old director has always been neutral towards both sides before, neither supporting nor opposing us. This move now. Is Max Yuan doing this purely for competition results, or does the old director have something in mind? In the dorm on the other side, a moment later, a figure quickly passed through the dorm door and came to Zhang Yu's side. Zhang Yu, let's hurry. Lemulin walked in quickly and sat down in front of Zhang Yu with a plop. Facing Lemulin's urgency, Zhang Yu nodded in agreement. After all, college students, especially those at Myriad Law University, are indeed pressed for time and need to make the most of it. He extended his palm, placing it against Lemulin's back, and a chilling, icy stream of magical power was injected into her body. The magical power, also originating from the deep chill meridian, made it easier for Lemulin to absorb Zhang Yu's power. However, as the coldness of their magical powers quickly accumulated, a visible purplish-blue hue appeared on Lemulin's face. Zhang Yu understood that if they continued like this training session wouldn't last much longer before ending. Otherwise, if she forced herself to continue, she would inevitably suffer severe frostbite, and the subsequent medical expenses and recovery time would severely set back her immortal path progress. How could Zhang Yu, who was looking forward to Lemulin reaching level 2 of the deep chill meridian, accept such a situation? So, feeling the rapid drop in her body temperature, Zhang Yu had no choice but to circulate his vital energy and press his other hand, emitting waves of heat, onto Lemulin's other side of her back. Zhang Yu, don't just touch my back, other parts of me are also very cold. Feeling her trembling body lean against him, Zhang Yu could only change his posture to better raise her body temperature. At this moment, he felt as if he was holding a soft mass of ice and snow, cool and smooth. Suddenly, he frowned and said, "Stop squirming, stop rubbing, or I won't touch you anymore." Lemulin immediately stopped moving her waist and nodded obediently, her purplish-blue lips trembling, as she said, "Okay." Outside the door, Chuan Jio was silently listening to the sounds inside the dormitory. In his usual impression, Lamulin was always cold and aloof, indifferent to the students around her. Her personality could be described as reclusive. Especially after she became a Foundation establishment ancestor, the thoughts of the students around her immediately changed, and these mere key refining juniors began to entertain the idea of dual cultivation with her. Lamulin's attitude towards these classmates became even more distant. Zhuang Ji often saw her treating her classmates as if they were air, seemingly unable to hear or see the key refining kids. But at this moment, Zhuang Ji, who was eavesdropping outside the door, felt that he had discovered another side of Lamulin. Dual cultivation is really a good way to train people, Zhuang Ji sighed. Even student Lamulin has developed two faces. In the following days, Zhang Yu continued his attempts at the journey of spirit-body fusion again and again. On this day, as he opened his eyes in the spirit world, he remembered his identity for this time. Zhang Yu was an experimental subject raised in a laboratory. He had been practicing the remnant ox self-sacrifice heart sutra since he was a child, just to make himself more resilient, so that the laboratory could collect more data. But just as his first day of work officially began, he found that the laboratory staff had not arrived. Instead, a group of people he had never seen before, dressed in uniforms, opened cage after cage and released all the experimental subjects. Due to the laboratory's unauthorized practice of immortal cultivation on underage experimental subjects, the relevant personnel have all been arrested. Next, your placement will be determined by the level of your cultivation. Because of his low cultivation, Zhang Yu was protected by the mortal protection law and released from the laboratory, gaining his freedom. Ignorant of the world, Zhang Yu wandered aimlessly in society, possessing nothing. The only thing he had was the remnant ox self-sacrifice heart sutra in his mind. Stealing things, snatching food, working odd jobs. He practiced the Heart Sutra over and over again, until one day he could keep the Heart Sutra running even while sleeping, able to not fear the cold and pain, and sleep soundly. But in the next moment, the entire world suddenly came to a standstill. Zhang Yu raised his head blankly and saw two figures emitting, rolling divine power, walking towards him. It seems that achieving spirit-body fusion for highly intelligent, spiritual artifacts is no longer a problem, and now we just need to wait for the formal experiment in the material world. Let's retrieve him first, don't let him escape into the spirit world network. As for the formal experiment in the material world, alas, the cost of highly intelligent spiritual artifacts cannot be reduced, so it's useless to say more. We can only blame those soul cultivators for being too cheap. They are much more useful than any spiritual artifact. Zhang Yu took off the spirit world mask again, and thought to himself, this time, it feels like a high-level spiritual artifact breaking through. Why does it feel like these highly intelligent spiritual artifacts break through much easier than humans? He shook his head, trying to grasp the feeling that lingered in his mind. Time came to that evening, and Zhang Yu, as usual, initiated communication with Bai Zhenjin. Yuzi. Bai Zhenjin looked at Zhang Yu with a smile and said, let me tell you some good news, I'm coming to Myriad Law University next semester. Zhang Yu's eyes lit up, and he said in surprise, really? You have time to come over? Bai Zhenjin said, yes, I'm participating in the college flying sword competition next semester. The venue for this year's flying sword competition is at Myriad Law University. Bai Zhenjin's projection walked over and leaned in front of Zhang Yu, smiling brightly, then we mother and son will finally be able to meet again. Happily ending the communication with Zhang Yu, Bai Zhenjin looked forward to the arrival of the flying sword competition even more. The next day, Zhang Yu logged into Hammer Heart Abode again. This time, opening his eyes, he looked at the many key refining cultivators in front of him, wearing long robes and sleeves, and knew that he was leading them to demand their wages. Zhang Yu took out a box from his sleeve, opened it, and revealed a few golden pills inside. Since the divine Zhao sect split during the sect war, the weapons of their army have been scattered everywhere, and these are the Grand Unity Heaven shaking thunder among them. Those Dao officials sent by the Myriad Law sect are squeezing us to death. Only this heaven thunder can help us stand up for ourselves, only it can explode the bitterness in our hearts. Let's all chip in together, I'll help you find the source of goods. As long as there are enough spirit stones, what magical treasures can't be bought? Under Zhang Yu's instigation, various magical treasures and flying swords circulated from the army were equipped in the hands of the crowd. A grand unity heaven-shaking thunder killed the Dao official in the government office, and the great battle erupted. Zhang Yu fell to the ground in the first wave of fighting. After a long time, he lifted his feigned death state, suddenly opened his eyes, and secretly left the battlefield. Zhang Yu found his superior and reported, "The mission is completed. Where's the next order?" Zhang Yu was a weapon vendor. He traveled around the territories of various sects, and wherever there was war and resistance, he would directly sell weapons. If there was no fighting, he would use his excellent ability to instigate riots and wars and indiscriminately sell various cultivation methods, magical treasures, and flying swords that flowed out of the army. His motto was, "What the enemy opposes, we support, and what the enemy supports, we take a 30% cut." And in this era, when the internet had not yet been born, and the system of righteous gods was not well developed, his business was very easy to do. There were also many people like him, with great battles and riots happening everywhere in the world. But Zhang Yu understood that all the wars, all the riots, were merely the will of the immortals behind them. And later, when the immortals decided to cease fighting, regulations on military-grade power were born, and Zhang Yu felt it was becoming increasingly difficult to make money, and that he himself was becoming more and more dangerous. Finally, during moments of anxious rest and sleep, he unknowingly pushed his heart sutra to the realm of spirit-body fusion. Zhang Yu took off the spirit world mask, recalling the scenes of killing the sextile officials in his mind, and felt the heart sutra in his mind becoming more and more turbulent. It seems there's a little progress again. And recalling his experiences in the simulation environment, Zhang Yu only had one thought: immortals don't care about riots, nor do they care about resistance. In fact, riots themselves were created by them, and the data from wars can also be sold. In the following time, Zhang Yu continued his daily journey of spirit-body fusion. Although after each session, he could feel that he had made progress, the white ox he visualized in his mind became more and more vivid, as if it was about to come alive, and he felt that he was getting closer and closer to spirit-body fusion, but it always seemed to be just a little bit off. Just that little bit. Time flew by and it was August in the blink of an eye. There was less than a month left until the final exams. It was on this day that a righteous god suddenly contacted Zhang Yu, asking if he had chosen a mentor, as the deadline for the end of the academic year was approaching. Zhang Yu was naturally well prepared for this. After the first level's high school foundation establishment exam ended, as the winner, he had the right to appoint a mentor at the university. The mentor during university represents the faction one will belong to within the university in the future, and is related to a student's development path throughout their undergraduate, master's, and doctoral studies. Zhang Yu was naturally very cautious about this, especially for him who wanted to switch to the artifact refining department. The choice of a teacher was even more important. He had also consulted Zhang Pianpian about this. Zhang Pianpian said to him, "If your goal is to switch to the artifact refining department in your third year, then the stronger the mentor, the better." Although the relationship between the artifact refining department and the civil engineering department is not bad, if you want to successfully transfer after entering the top 20 of the entire department, a powerful mentor can reduce a lot of trouble. However, the stronger the mentor, the higher their requirements for students, and as a flagship major, the powerful mentors in the artifact refining department have even higher requirements. Plus, your situation of transferring from the civil engineering department. Although they have to accept you as a student at first due to the rules, they probably won't give you a good attitude. The worst case scenario when choosing a mentor is choosing an uncooperative mentor. If the other party is unwilling to teach you, even if they accept you as a student, it is meaningless and will make you lose the opportunity to truly receive guidance from a mentor. I think if you want to transfer departments, it's better to take it slow and transfer when you take the postgraduate entrance exam after graduating from civil engineering. Zhang Yu knew that Zhang Pianpian was right. In terms of the success rate of transferring departments, the success rate of taking the postgraduate entrance exam was obviously the highest. But he knew that under the pressure of the evil god ritual, he had to enter the 10 great sects, and he had to get in before the channels were completely closed, and the sooner the better. He had to transfer to the artifact refining department as soon as possible, take the postgraduate entrance exam as soon as possible, and find a way to enter the 10 great sects as soon as possible. So, at Zhang Yu's insistence, Zhang Pianpian also helped collect information, and finally decided to choose True Monarch Magnetic Pole from the artifact refining department. This is a nascent Soul Realm deputy director, and also in existence who is very likely to become the head of the artifact refining department in the future. It can be said that this is one of the most promising teachers in the artifact refining department. Once he has the other party's support, as long as Zhang Yu's grades are good enough, there will be no problem with transferring departments. However, such a prominent figure in the artifact refining department naturally would not care about a student from the civil engineering department like Zhang Yu. If he were directly appointed through a righteous god, it is very likely that he would accept Zhang Yu, but treat him as if he hadn't, leaving Zhang Yu in a situation where having a mentor was equivalent to not having one. Fortunately, Zhang Yu also found a helping hand from a good friend. A message appeared in his eye sockets. Deng Bingding student Zhang Yu, long time no see. Through the merits he earned on the first level, Deng Bingding successfully came to the second level and obtained a new position in the territory of Myriad Law University. After arriving on the second level for a period of time, Deng Bingding remained low-key for a while, always observing, listening, and speaking less, constantly collecting information and confirming the situation. In this process, he also became more certain of some of his past conjectures. Behind Zhang Pian might be a great god-level figure from the Myriad People Department. Zhang Yu should also be from this lineage, which is why he was arranged to disrupt the actions of the Nether Palace on the first level. These two people are worth helping. So, with Deng Bingding's help, Zhang Yu finally managed to add True Monarch, Magnetic Pole, as a friend on the Spirit World network, before appointing a mentor. Zhang Yu teacher, I don't know if God Deng has told you about my situation. Zhang Yu, I want to transfer to the artifact refining department in my third year, so I want to become your disciple. After waiting for a long time, just when Zhang Yu thought the other party might not want to talk to him, True Monarch Magnetic Pole finally replied, with an okay. After waiting for a long time, and with no subsequent message from the other party, Zhang Yu had no choice but to follow Fuji's guidance and reluctantly send a red envelope of 0.1 spirit coins. The red envelope was instantly claimed, and True Monarch Magnetic Pole's reply followed, I don't recommend you do this. Zhang Yu was helpless and had to ask Deng Bingding for help again. This righteous god added the two of them to a group and said, I have a suggestion. Next, Deng Bingding brought up a plan they had discussed earlier with Zhang Yu. Deng Bingding director, I know that the requirements for transferring to the artifact refining department are very high, and I also know that your requirements are even higher. Deng Bingding, however, this kid Zhang Yu is indeed very talented. Deng Bingding, how about this? After appointing a mentor, you can keep it private. No one will know that he is your student. You just need to give him a little guidance. Deng Bingding is by the time he reaches his third year, he can barely meet your standards, then he will be your student. Deng Bingding, if he doesn't meet your requirements by then it will be as if nothing ever happened. Seeing that the other party was silent for a long time again, Deng Bingding poked Zhang Yu in the group chat. Zhang Yu was helpless and had to send another red envelope of 0.1 spirit coins. True Monarch Magnetic Pole, a little interesting. True Monarch Magnetic Pole, then, if by the time you reach your third year, in addition to entering the top 20 of the civil engineering department, you can also complete the first 3 years of courses in the artifact refining department, and pass the artifact refining department's third year final exam, then I will acknowledge you as my student. Zhang Yu's eyes lit up. As long as there were requirements and standards, it would be much easier for him. So, with Deng Bingding's help, True Monarch Magnetic Pole was temporarily appointed as Zhang Yu's mentor, but Zhang Yu had never met this mentor, and besides the few of them, no one else in the university knew about it. After the matter was settled, Zhang Yu thanked Deng Bingding again. Deng Bingding refused Zhang Yu's red envelope and said with a smile, for me, it was just a few words, a small favor. Student Zhang Yu, keep up the good work. I believe you will definitely be able to enter the artifact refining department and become a disciple of True Monarch Magnetic Pole. After temporarily confirming his teacher, Zhang Yu continued to devote his energy to studying, cultivating, and working. And as time passed, the deadline for the final exams got closer and closer, and Zhang Yu's key meridian, long flow, finally reached its final layer. Yuxingan's three-eyed divine ability also finally leveled up to level 2. The realm of spirit-body fusion also finally appeared before Zhang Yu, allowing the remnant Ox self-sacrifice heart sutra to reveal more mysteries to him. August. Yuxingan's third-eye divine ability also finally leveled up to level 2. Yuxingan's hands moved, leaving trails of after images as he repeatedly knocked, rubbed, and squeezed the large piece of flesh before him. constantly adjusting its stress structure and relaxing the overly fatigued flesh and blood. Under his third eye divine ability, the structure of the flesh and blood before him seemed incredibly clear. Every point of wear, injury, and weakness precisely appeared before his eyes, greatly improving the effectiveness of his massage. With a single touch, his client's body would tremble violently, letting out a long groan. A hint of arrogance flashed in Xiong's eyes as he watched this scene. I've broken through again. Now, I can raise my massage fees. But the next moment, looking at the messages in the Songyang hometown group, Xiong's brows suddenly furrowed. It's that guy Lian Tianji again. In the group, it was Lian Tianji from Revolves University sending video links again, asking fellow townsfolk for likes. While giving the massage and watching Lian Tianji's video, Xiong couldn't help but sigh that the other party's results were more than 10 times better than his. Revolves University truly has a unique advantage in video creation. Things like the homeroom teacher's temptation, the patrol team's secret search, and other topics that were ultimate, sensitive, involved love potions, or purity, made Xiong feel a huge gap. Myriad Arts University has been left too far behind by Revolves University in this area's technology. And that guy Lian Tianji. It seems like he started making videos back in high school. Could it be that he's been preparing to debut in college for a long time? As expected, none of us from Songyang City, who got into the 10 great universities, are simple. Not only was Zhang Yu selected for the outdoor construction site, I successfully joined the dark massage world, and Lian Tianji's videos are also quite impressive. While thinking, Xiong had already sent a message to Lian Tianji, can we collaborate on a video? Or could you help forward my video? Lian Tianji for business collaborations, please send a private message to. Xiong twitched the corner of his mouth, thinking, this guy, in high school, he was clearly just a nobody around Yumulin, and now he won't even give me any face. Meanwhile, Zhang Yu was also studying his level 2 third eye divine ability. He saw himself closing his eyes tightly, his third eye divine ability seemingly able to penetrate flesh and see various parts of his body. Zhang Yu saw his intestines and stomach, slowly wriggling under the wrapping of secret steel number 15. He saw the blood flowing throughout his body. He saw the slightly damaged meridians after today's work, slowly repairing under activation. He also saw the unevenly distributed secret steel number 20 on his bones. Using the third eye divine ability for external observation is just seeing some weak points on others, it's not very interesting. However, when used for internal observation, it can detect various subtle changes in the body. If Zhang Yu's self-healing using body activation, before, was like a blind man touching an elephant, relying entirely on feeling. Then at this moment, with the cooperation of the level 2 third eye divine ability, he felt that his self-healing had become more accurate and effective. Back when I was digesting secret steel number 20, if I had this ability, my bone strengthening could have been more balanced and effective. Zhang Yu thought to himself, for me, the level 2 third eye divine ability is currently mainly about better avoiding physical wear and tear during daily activities, further improving self-healing efficiency, and secondly, the future. In the future, when I transfer to the artifact crafting department and begin refining my body into an artifact skeleton, this ability might be very useful. Inside the construction site on the 667th floor, Zhang Yu was sitting cross-legged, breathing in spiritual energy, refining magic power, and pushing the 10th breathing method of the key, meridian, long, flow. Around him, several humanoid ki flickered back and forth, constantly pushing forward the work at the construction site under Zhang Yu's control, completing task after task. Until this breathing method of Zhang Yu's was also pushed to level 20, his ki meridian long flow finally reached the final realm. Ultimate ki meridian long flow converts stamina and vital energy within one's body into magic power. The more breathing methods mastered, the higher the conversion efficiency. Looking at this final effect, Zhang Yu's gaze slightly narrowed, and he thought to himself, is this considered trading HP for MP? Zhang Yu tried activating it slightly, and immediately felt threads of power within his entire body's flesh and blood being forcibly squeezed out, then converted into magic power, converging towards his dantian. Is this stamina converting into magic power? During the conversion process, Zhang Yu felt as if the flesh and blood throughout his entire body were undergoing intense exercise, gradually beginning to feel fatigued. And as Xiong Yu's intention deepened further, the vital energy he had been accumulating in his body through eating and taking medicine over the past few days also seemed restless, ready to be converted into magic power at any time. However, he naturally didn't do that. This vital energy, serving as his body's foundation, was the basis for advancing his cultivation and enhancing his physical strength, and could not be easily used. Next, Xiong Yu merely continuously converted stamina into magic power, experimenting with this ability. Xiong Yu thought to himself, this is an ability that can instantly burst out more magic power, allowing my total usable magic power to far exceed my own limit. So, if I combine it with my... As his thoughts moved, another humanoid key appeared behind him. And with stamina continuously converting into magic power, the magic power Xiong Yu consumed was quickly replenished, so another formless warrior appeared behind him. However, he quickly dispelled these two formless warriors. Xiong Yu thought to himself, I need to find an excuse to cover this up, otherwise my magic power level will be too eye-catching. So, on the construction site the next day, Xiong Yu held a bottle of life-damaging heavenly machine powder in his hand, pretending that he had already taken it, and then silently converted stamina into magic power. And as his abundant stamina was converted into surging, magic, power, within his dantian, Xiong Yu felt as if the flesh and blood throughout his entire body were burning fiercely, constantly being refined into waves of magic power surging towards his dantian. Feeling the swelling sensation emanating from his dantian, Xiong Yu directly summoned 5 formless warriors. But under the effect of Ki Meridian Long Flow's magic power recovery, speed, and the continuous conversion of stamina into magic power, he soon felt the faint swelling sensation in his dantian again. So Xiong Yu continued to summon one formless warrior after another. In the blink of an eye, a full 10 formless warriors appeared before him. With a shift of Xiong Yu's thoughts, they rushed out with a bang, sweeping away all the construction waste around them. Through converting stamina into magic power, I can maintain a maximum of 10 formless warriors. Xiong Yu secretly estimated, running at full power for about half an hour. If I purely pursue quantity, then dozens of formless warriors might also be maintained for a few minutes. With this, a hint of excitement flashed in Xiong Yu's eyes. I alone can practically equal a construction team. How much of an increase in construction efficiency is this? I'm essentially my own contractor now. Xiong Yu knew that many jobs on the construction site were paid by the piece, belonging to the more work, more pay category. This was also the reason why his income from the construction site had risen steadily as his cultivation gradually increased. And now, with another increase in work efficiency, it meant his income could increase again. However, when Xiong Yu summoned the 7th formless warrior, he already found that he was having some trouble controlling them, making it difficult for all 7 to perform precise movements. When it came to 10 formless warriors, if he wanted to move them all, he could only perform some vague operations. He could even only barely control 3 or 4 of the formless warriors to perform martial arts moves. The remaining ones could only perform basic human movements. Xiong Yu thought to himself, I still need to practice. As my cultivation continuously improves, my stamina and magic power get higher and higher. My actual usable magic power will also continuously increase, and the number of humanoid ki I can create will also increase. Then I will need stronger control ability to control a larger number of formless warriors. Otherwise, no matter how many there are, it will be useless. Just as Xiong Yu was controlling his construction team to work, Li Zhao, who was passing by not far away, had a look of shock in his eyes. Xiong Yu can now summon so much ki by himself to work. How many times my income must his be? But this was just his initial thought. With further observation, what truly shocked Li Zhao wasn't this, but the bottle of pills Xiong Yu was holding in his hand. No, that's not right. Xiong Yu is taking that kind of potent medicine again. Is he forcibly squeezing out the magic power from his body to refine ki? To work. Even if his salary increases, the damage to his body is significant. For daily work. Does he need to be so desperate? This was the most shocking thing in Li Zhao's heart. He felt his mentality was collapsing doing this. Even if he earns a bit more, after deducting future medical expenses, how much more is it? It's too competitive. Damn, it's too competitive. And after today's work ended, Xiong Yu looked at his income, and a hint of satisfaction welled up in his heart. From the initial 0.05 spirit coins per night, to over 0.07 spirit coins per night, later, and then today. His salary for one night directly broke through 201 spirit coins. As long as you're willing to endure hardship in civil engineering, you can really save money. After Xiong Yu successively completed Qi, Meridian, Long, Flow, and Third Eye Divine Ability in August. However, his journey of spirit-body fusion fell into difficulty for a time. Day after day of attempts, he always felt that a breakthrough was imminent, but he always failed to succeed. And on this day, when Xiong Yu logged into Hammer Heart Abode again, and entered the simulation environment again, the back-end management personnel of Hammer Heart Abode began observing Xiong Yu. Inside a pure white spiritual realm control room, Manager Yu Chuan of Hammer Heart Abode said to the customer service staff beside him, "He's here again?" The customer service staff replied, "The user has entered the simulation environment." Looking at Xiong Yu's related data, Yu Chuan couldn't help but frown repeatedly. Starting a few days ago, because Xiong Yu had not broken through for a long time, the relevant user alerts had been sent to Yu Chuan. In order to increase the success rate of his breakthrough, Yu Chuan had to increase his permissions, allowing him to log into the simulation environment 3 times a day. But even with triple the efficiency, the other party still showed no signs of a breakthrough. If this Xiong Yu drags on like this, our team's average time spent on customer breakthroughs this month will increase again. And this kid hasn't broken through for so long, I think he has the potential to surpass the 29-day record. Thinking of this, Xiong Yu had already become an unprecedented major enemy in Manager Yu Chuan's eyes. Listening to Audio Nova. Inside the spirit realm office of Hammer Heart Residence, Yu Chuan was heard saying, "This simulation environment is very suitable for Xiong Yu. Help him enable deep connection, and then at the critical moment of breakthrough, play it at 0.3x speed and loop it 10 times. Hearing Yu Chuan's instructions, the customer service representative frowned and said, "The pain index of this simulation environment is very high. If we enable deep connection, I'm afraid the memories from the simulation environment will affect his mental state." Of course, Yu Chuan knew that once deep connection was enabled, the possibility of a breakthrough would greatly increase, but the residual memories, feelings, and emotions from the simulation environment would also be much deeper. But he said indifferently, he has already agreed to the user manual, and even if something happens, it will be at least a few months from now. Who can blame us? The customer service representative added, but mobilizing so many computing resources and letting him suffer so much for free, isn't that too cheap for him? Yu Chuan sighed, "There's nothing we can do." Guaranteed success for 30 spirit coins was the selling point of this package. The gamble was on the student's strong aptitude and willingness to push for breakthroughs, with most being able to reach the spirit-flesh unity realm within 5 attempts. When we encounter students who are slow to break through like this, we can only consider ourselves unlucky. Meanwhile, after Xiong Yu opened his eyes in the spirit realm, he remembered his identity. He was Xiong Yu, a construction worker. But due to physical injuries, his work efficiency was too low, and gradually no construction sites were willing to hire him. Fortunately, the advancement of technology and the appearance of Dharma skeletons gave him hope. Dharma skeletons, the epoch-making product of Tiangong Group, leading the world with cutting-edge immortal techniques, allowing everyone to have higher work efficiency. In the future, everyone equipped with a Dharma skeleton will only need to work 2 hours to complete the amount of work that currently takes 12 hours. Tiangong, making immortal techniques better benefit Kongshu. Watching the advertisement in the video, Xiong Yu made a painful decision. He sold everything he could, including his hands and feet, and borrowed a large sum of money. Finally, he was fitted with a Dharma skeleton and immediately regained his ability to work. He was placed on a construction site, where he ingested materials every day, and then excreted high-quality concrete. The technical complexity of his work greatly increased, and his salary instantly multiplied several times. But the good times didn't last. The Dharma skeleton, which had only been released recently, caused a severe rejection reaction in him. And due to lack of funds, Xiong Yu had no money for the weekly Dharma skeleton adjustments, let alone the monthly Dharma skeleton maintenance. The first-generation Dharma skeletons on his body gradually began to age, no longer adapting to the body's natural changes, and started to cause structural imbalances in the body. All of this ultimately led to the continuous decrease in his Dharma skeleton synchronization rate. The synchronization rate is too low, causing your scheduling nerves to work overtime, which ultimately led to abnormalities in the cerebral cortex. Listening to the company's analysis, Xiong murmured, "Is this why I experience phantom pain?" The other party said, "Go pay the bill first, and then we'll immediately help you with the Dharma skeleton adjustment. You need to know that your body changes every day. The current Dharma skeleton cannot actively adapt, it must be adjusted once a week to perfectly fit your body. Not adjusting it for a long time will cause the body structure to mutate, and the flesh and nerves will develop compensatory changes." Xiong could no longer hear what the other party said next, because he was heavily in debt and had no money at all. He could only endure the phantom pain in his body, circulating the crippled ox self-sacrifice technique over and over again. But this pain became more frequent and intense as his working hours increased. The pain of limbs breaking and internal organs being stripped away kept coming. Xiong opened his eyes and seemed to see his bloody wounds again. Under the frantic circulation of the crippled ox self-sacrifice technique, he was about to step into the realm of spirit-flesh unity. But just then, a thought suddenly surged in his mind. Why? Why can't my wounds heal themselves? Meanwhile, under the influence of the deep connection, the crippled ox self-sacrifice technique in Xiong's mind began to circulate spontaneously, and the physical activation of his hands and feet was raised to its peak. Amidst the constant undulation of flesh and blood, it was as if the wounds on his hands and feet that were severed in his mind were trying to heal. Following Xiong's strong reaction in reality, Xiong in the simulation environment also trembled violently. The flesh and blood in his hands and feet surged, and his cultivation method broke through, seemingly undergoing some kind of active change. Just then, a voice seemed to tear through the simulation space and entered Xiong's sea of consciousness from the depths of the spirit realm. "Find me." Xiong instinctively said, "Who are you?" "Find me." But the other party seemed unable to hear Xiong's reply and just continued, "Find my spirit. Find my physical body. Find my magic power." When Xiong came back to his senses, he found that his spirit realm connection had been cut off. He took off the spirit realm mask, recalling everything that had just happened in his mind, and murmured, "Me." Xiong felt his cultivation method circulating naturally, and before he knew it, he had already stepped into the realm of spirit-flesh unity. But before he could be happy, he found a strange URL appearing in his mind. Was it the voice that sent it to me? Who exactly was he? To be able to call out to me within the spirit realm environment of Hammerheart Residence? Could it be someone from Hammerheart Residence? Have they been secretly observing me? Just as Xiong was full of doubts, a communication request appeared on his eye skeleton. After the communication was opened, the figure of Manager Yu Chuan appeared before Xiong. "Xiong, student." Yu Chuan's eyes flickered as he said, "Are you alright?" Just at the critical moment of breakthrough, the instant before Xiong's flesh and blood activated in the simulation environment, Yu Chuan discovered that the entire simulation environment suddenly disconnected. Then, a few seconds later, the entire simulation environment collapsed. This phenomenon immediately gave Yu Chuan a big scare. He quickly had the customer service representative block the news, intercept the logs and relevant data, and then Yu Chuan immediately contacted Xiong. Seeing that Xiong seemed fine, Yu Chuan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Good. Although something happening to Xiong wouldn't be a big deal for Hammerheart residents, it would be a major mistake for Yu Chuan personally. Seeing Yu Chuan's strange expression, Fuji suddenly asked, "What happened?" Listening to Xiong's account, Fuji smiled slightly and said, "Don't worry, if there was a real big problem, it wouldn't just be a communication contact. What happened to you this time might be considered their work error by the other party. Otherwise, the people at Hammerheart Residence wouldn't contact you privately instead of going through company channels. I think you can try to bluff him." Xiong raised an eyebrow and looked at Yu Chuan, saying, "What's going on with you guys at Hammerheart Residence? Such a serious error. I almost died in there." Yu Chuan's heart sank, and he secretly thought, "This is bad." On the surface, he adamantly denied there was a problem, but he felt uncertain inside. Because he truly didn't know what had happened in those few seconds when the connection was broken. Xiong said, "You don't want to take responsibility, right? I want a refund, and I'm going to sue you. I've already saved the problematic spirit realm data." Yu Chuan's heart sank again upon hearing this. Thinking about the simulation environment parameters he had ordered to be adjusted, he sighed and had to start negotiating with Xiong. After some bargaining, the two parties gradually reached an agreement. You chew on as long as you don't go through the company's refund process, confirm that the service was successfully completed, and don't pursue this matter. I will personally refund you 2.5 spirit coins per month, privately, for a total of 12 installments. Yu Chuan secretly thought, it's better to let this Zhang Di not continue his spirit-flesh unity journey. It wastes computing resources and messes up our team's data. What if another accident happens? Zhang Yu's eyes lit up, and he said, what about interest? After another round of bargaining, Yu Chuan finally agreed to bear the interest, paying Zhang Yu 3.3 spirit coins every month, allowing Zhang Yu to pay off the monthly installment loan for the spirit-flesh unity journey. Although Zhang Yu also considered whether he could squeeze out more benefits, he understood that he had actually already completed spirit-flesh unity. Coupled with what happened in the simulation environment, whether it was at voice or the activation of his own body, he was unwilling to reveal it. So Zhang Yu knew that he couldn't really blow this matter up. Now it's like beating a wolf with a hemp stalk, both sides are afraid, it's just that I've temporarily bluffed him. Shortly after the two parties signed the agreement, Zhang Yu hung up the communication. Thinking about how he had gotten the spirit-flesh unity journey for free, he couldn't help but laugh. I made a huge profit this time. Fuji, however, was more concerned about the URL Zhang Yu had received. But Zhang Yu didn't log in immediately. After thinking for a moment, he sent the URL to Zhang Pianpian, asking if there were any issues. Where did you get this URL? Zhang Pianpian asked in confusion. This URL points to the extremely deep part of the spirit realm, almost at the edge of the second layer. It doesn't look like it's been there for a long time either. It seems more like it was just generated recently. However, the outer layer of this URL is encrypted and locked, so I can't view its content. Forcing entry might damage the information inside. So, under Zhang Pianpian's protection, Zhang Yu logged into that website. After a long time, Zhang Pianpian couldn't help but ask, what did you see? A cultivation method. Zhang Yu asked in confusion. And it's a cultivation method that's not in the Great Library. At the same time, he thought to himself, it's also a cultivation method that can be included in the chain method diagram set, belonging to the Great Sage Air set. Zhang Pianpian raised an eyebrow. What specific cultivation method is it? Zhang Yu reported the content of the cultivation method. After collecting information in the spirit realm, Zhang Pianpian slowly said, in all the data I have, there is no information about this cultivation method. This indicates this is a black cultivation method. Zhang Yu asked in confusion, black cultivation method. What does that mean? Zhang Pianpian explained, a cultivation method that is not in the Taoist canon catalog of the 10 great sects, has no registered copyright, and has no records whatsoever. Most people believe that black cultivation methods are those prohibited by the 10 great sects and whose data records have been erased. They might originate from some sects that have already been annihilated. Or they might have been created by certain individuals who have already been blacklisted. Then senior sister, Zhang Yu asked curiously, do you think I can cultivate this method? After a moment of silence, Zhang Pianpian said, from the content, I feel there is no danger. I even think that in terms of quality, this cultivation method, even if not military grade, is at least pre-military grade. The danger of this black cultivation method probably lies in its origin. And the person who transmitted this cultivation method to you might also be keeping an eye on you. But a cultivation method of this quality would be too wasteful not to cultivate. Zhang Pianpian seemed to weigh the options, and looked at Zhang Yu, saying, you decide for yourself. But remember, if you want to cultivate it, you must hide yourself well. Secondly, whenever your consciousness enters the spirit realm network in the future, do not circulate this black cultivation method, lest you be targeted. And shortly after Zhang Yu began cultivating this black cultivation method, time quickly reached the end of August, the deadline for the final exams.